with salty and big pickle. Now this ain't a pistol, it's a missile. Then I strike my poses and sanding on your temple. I just fucked the world, it was simple. Kamikaze on my mind, think about it all the time. Kamikaze on my mind, think about it all the time. Where my slime's at? Yeah, where my slime's at? Yeah. All my slimes got the metal on them. Kaboom. All my slimes got the metal on them. Kaboom. Tombstones put the pedals on them. Rip. Tombstones put the pedals on them. Rip. All my slimes got the metal on them. Kaboom. All my slimes got the metal on them. Kaboom. Tombstones put the pedals on them. Rip. Tombstones put the pedals on them. Rip. Day or night, shit is on sight. Bless their hearts, they had to meet the end before my story starts. It's the gory part, the ooey gooey bits. It's getting dark, keep your guard up. Some motherfuckers talking like they ain't about to get barred up. That price upon your head about to get marked up. I'm allergic to bullshit and red fucking hoes, and that's my word is. Probably surface level, but it still should be asserted. I love myself too much, so me and death have never flirted. Don't call me
That's
Waldo
right.
no more, I am
Waldo.
That's Kurt.
Waldo's springtime, chat. You love to hear the Waldo springtime, because that means another Seattle Mariners victory. Chat room, how we doing tonight on this fine, what day is it, Tuesday? On this fine Tuesday, another victory royale for the boys. Jorge Polanco with 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, all the Mariners runs in this game. He almost had a third home run. Like, my goodness. My goodness, Jorge Polanco is on another planet. When it comes to guys I have seen with this kind of run for the Mariners, right? I think of like Julio's August a couple of years ago, right? Actually, was it even that good? Was Julio's August in 23? $2. Sound less like you're dying today? Jeffrey, I appreciate the $2 holla. I actually feel a little bit better today. The cough is a little bit better. So I'm feeling slightly better on this fine Tuesday. Appreciate the $2 holla, Jeffrey. Let me check. Julio's August in whatever month that was. Or I'm sorry, whatever year that was. Because that was and I also think of Domingo Santana in 2019 and Tim Beckham in 2019. If you guys recall that season for those guys. So, I just want splits. All right, here we go. We're going to look at 20... What year should we look at? Let's look at 23. Was it 23 that he went crazy? Okay, so maybe Julio's 2020, August of 2023, maybe that's a little bit crazier. In August of 2023, he played in 23 games. He hit .429 with 7 home runs and 30 RBI in that month. Also 11 stolen bags. You know what? Never mind. I have changed my mind about what it reminds me of. So, Tim Beckham or Domingo Santana from 2019, that's where I'm at with Jorge Polanco right now. Somebody said Polo 5 and the Angels 3. I mean, that's exactly what it was. That is exactly what it was. It's Polo 5, Angels 3. That is his second multi-home run game in the last 3 games. And, as Jeffrey mentions right here with another $2 holla from Jeffrey, Munoz is unhittable right now. Filthy stuff, dude. I mean, I'm waiting, unfortunately, for, like, either A, because with how the rest of the season is gone, right? And knock on wood, you know, I'll give up my arm or whatever. He has been healthy so far, right? But the way the rest of the season's been going, I feel like it's only a freaking matter of time with how much he's been used. And I am over the moon at how good Andres Munoz has been doing, because so I met him down in spring training this year when I was down there for the month. He is quite literally one of the nicest people that I've ever met. He'll sit there, he'll talk to you, he'll sign autographs for 30, 45 minutes. Like, nicest dude in the world. So I love to see the success from Munoz. Brandon Kessie, I hope I said that right. Kessie, welcome to being a member of the Mojovians. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. You can't find it? Let me help you out here, Colton. Hold up. Also good to see you, bro. I think I can actually pull up a link, but I'm not 100% certain. Let me look. But yeah, what a game. Bryce Miller struggled with his command a little bit, which is, and his velo was down a little bit as well, which kind of scares me. Here, Colton, try this link. Try that link. Braden with the another $2 holla. He says Jorge Bonds. Jorge Bonds instead of Barry Bonds. I mean, you don't want to pitch to him, right? You don't want to pitch to Jorge Polanco right now. He's in auto homer mode. The fact that he almost had a third home run in this game is insane. Like how well he's seeing the baseball. I don't know the last time I saw something like it. Like, again, the closest is probably Julio's August in 2023, but he was also, I mean, that was Julio in 2023 was better than this, which is crazy. Should we start to worry about Bryce Miller? A tick below velocity and the issues with the Swarm in the past? Yeah, it's what's interesting with Bryce, right? Is we know that he has had he's had trouble bouncing back. Yo, Alex Hoover, appreciate you subscribing. He's had trouble bouncing back from his start so far this year. He's admitted that. He's said that. And the fact that we have seen him struggle with his command over the past, well, basically the entire season, actually. And then to see the fact that he walked 5 in this game with the velo being down a tick. So, I don't know if you guys remember what I was originally saying. I was saying that the Mariners might want to, when George Kirby comes back, might want to put Bryce Miller on the injured list to get him, a couple weeks of rest. Levi with the $1. His message says, appreciate that, Levi. I said they might want to put Bryce on the injured list is get him some rest for a few starts because he's having this much trouble bouncing back. Again, like somebody said, thankfully, they're a bad baseball team. But at the same time, now with Logan Gilbert going on the injured list, I don't know if you can afford it. I really don't know if you can afford it. You have to hope that Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock, we'll see Hancock start tomorrow. You have to hope that those guys continue to pitch well, because with the injuries to this ball club, you really have to rely on those guys from AAA. And I think that, I don't know if you guys saw it, but today the Mariners re-signed Brian Shaw, one of the worst relievers in Mariners history. I don't know if we have to rely on him, but I mean, with Logan Evans coming up, I don't know who could be next up after that. Both guys that we said are our depth pieces are already with the major league team. So kind of like a Phantom IL stint, exactly Steamboat, exactly. Although you could argue that he is hurt. I see a lot of people asking about the Luke Raley injury. Did you guys see the video of him swinging in the cage and he swung through and he grabbed? I'm assuming it's an oblique, right? Those usually, obliques are finicky because and especially with someone like Luke Raley, it is a very, very integral part of his swing. And he swings so violently. He does everything violently. So was it officially his oblique reach? Did they say that in the post game? Sorry, chat. Still trying to get over the cold. Sorry, chat. I assume that with Luke Raley going on the injured list, the next person up, even though Luke's been playing outfield, then let me think. I would say Tyler Locklear, right? But because Donovan Solano is still on this baseball team, I don't see a way that it makes sense to keep. Gosh, it's just a lot of guys that are all playing first base or DHing. When you have, I think that there is a chance. I'm sorry, chat. I think there is a chance. Let me think. That's my okay, guys. Colton drinking his chug jug emote. Okay, guys. So Jeff Knack says Ryland Thomas. I think Ryland Thomas is an excellent choice as well. How's he doing this year? Also, chat. Oh, before we do that, we got the new Trident's Up Torpedoes Away merch. All right, we got that in the mail the other day. We got the Heck the Astros merch. Heck the Astros. Oh no. And then we have the Mariners Anonymous, merch as well. You can all get that. Smile. Here's this. You can all get that at this link right here. Smile, and appreciate everyone that has already bought the merch as well. If you guys do get the merch and you guys want to be like featured in the video or something, shoot us a picture of you wearing the merch. We'll feature you guys in the video for real. We're not far off from leading the AL outright. That's true, Jeffrey. That's true. We're one game behind the what are they called? The Detroit Tigers. One game behind the Detroit Tigers. Okay, so let's look up Ryland Thomas really quick. Because I could definitely see it being Ryland Thomas as well. I'm not going to lie, that's something that didn't really cross my mind. So, Jeff, good shout on that, Jeff. So far in 2025, Thomas is hitting 319, 363, 362. He has one homer. He's only struck out 4 times and walked 6 times. And he's stolen 6 bags. Yeah, bring him up. If Luke Raley does have to go on the injured list, I say bring up Ryland Thomas. I think that it makes more sense to bring up Tyler Locklear simply because you'd have too many first basemen if you brought up Tyler Locklear. So I feel like you have to go with an outfielder at that point because Luke's been playing the outfield so much with Victor going down. So am I from Seattle? I'm about an hour southish of Seattle, Mac. About an hour southish. Ryland was rumored around the club, I thought I heard. I wonder if like once Luke hurt himself, if there's a chance that they called Ryland up immediately. Tomorrow, let's take the series. I'm in. Need some, honey or something like that. Dude, I'm not going to lie. My cough hasn't been that bad today until I hopped on here because I'm just talking a lot. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that Ryland Thomas, the move tomorrow is probably Luke Raley on the 15-day injured list along with half the rest of the team with a right oblique strain. I think that you call up Ryland Thomas and then maybe I would love for them to ditch Donovan Solano and call up Tyler Locklear already, but I don't think it's going to happen. They called up Ryland Thomas as a just-in-case player. Interesting. You've been on the Thomas train for over a week? Yeah, I mean, I was trying to get him into our top 30 prospects just like I was with Nick Dunn over the offseason, and frickin' Joe wouldn't let me. Eat a clove of garlic? You just think I'm a vampire. That's what you think. You think I'm a vampire, so I'm going to die from it. That's unbelievable. Knowing us, it's going to be Dom Canzone. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if it was Dom Canzone. He did hit a home run tonight. Bring Ford up and put him in the outfield. I mean, he could definitely do it. Appreciate another $2, Jeffrey. Appreciate that. Luke only 10-day, right? It's tough to say, Mitchell, because obliques can be finicky. They're usually 6 to 8 weeks. And now, depending on the grade of the strain, right? Depending on the grade of the strain that he has will obviously change the outlook of the injury. But if it is anything like most gargle salted warm water, I never knew that helped with coughs until recently. I thought it was only sore throats. If that is the case, you need to go make a more permanent solution out there in the outfield, because if he's gone, obviously Victor's down. You can't put Dylan Moore out there because he's hurt. You have to bring up an outfielder, and I think that has to be Ryland Thomas. It has to be. So, Crazy how many injuries the Mariners have sustained already, and it's not even May yet. Thankfully, they are winning in spite of it. I agree, Chris. We got really lucky last year. Really lucky last year. When the injury bug didn't hit this team. Too bad. Tommy Pham is washed. I'm good. I also just don't like Tommy Pham. I'm good. Do you guys think this team should make another trade at the deadline to fill any holes? I mean, Greg, I think it definitely depends on where they're at. In terms of what's it called? Injuries at the time. Is Polo tied with Cal? I think he's one off. Trade for Mike Trout, I'm in. Are the Mariners one of the most injured teams in baseball right now? I believe they have the record so far this year for the most players used. So yeah, I'd say so. Although a lot of that's obviously moving guys up and down the bullpen. But yeah, I think they've used like 39 players so far this year, which is crazy. I think that's more than they used all of last year. Thanks for doing the post-game shows, even though you're feeling icky. Absolutely, Anna. There's no place I'd rather be, especially because I get to do these after wins a lot of the times. So actually, since I've been sick, the Mariners haven't lost. Oh my God, I have to be sick the rest of my life. This is so sad. I'll get used to coughing. If I have to cough the rest of my life like I have been for the past week, but that means the Seattle Mariners win the World Series in 2025, I'm in. I will take one for the team, chat. I'll take one for the team. This team had holes prior to injuries. This terrible offseason, courtesy of Jonathan Stanton, is coming back to haunt them. Needed depth. And that's right. They did need depth. And unfortunately, they didn't have it going into this season. They didn't have depth. And we talked about that a lot with, of course, the infield when it comes to having Jorge Polanco come back, a very injury-prone guy. At first base, we didn't really know what was going to happen. We assumed it was going to be Luke Raley until Rowdy and Solano came in, but now they both are kind of so yeah, the depth is something they really should have worked on in the offseason, because you need to raise the floor of this bench. And unfortunately they just didn't do that. $2 from Jeffrey says, where the heck is Matt Brash? Munoz needs help. He pitched today. I would assume that Matt Brash is either back before this road trip, so before they leave on Thursday, or they wait until the team comes back home. So, but he's very close to his return. He had a home run hit off of him today. Thoughts on Spire tonight? Autumn says. It's a rough matchup for him because there was only one lefty in the lineup and then one switch hitter. And I think that he located okay, but he just, he got hit around a little bit, which is, that's going to happen. I think that when it comes to Gabe Spire coming back from the injury, of course, and then coming into this year and pitching well, he's bound to have games like that. I think he'll bounce back just fine, especially if he has a lefty pocket coming up. Dan's first win on a Tuesday as a manager. Is that true? Ben is starting to look overmatched and the league is figuring him out. Have you noticed that too? No. It's going to happen. It's bound to happen. It's one game, honestly, maybe two, but he just had a 4-hit game the other day, or whatever, 3-hit game. So I think he's fine right now, but it is bound to happen. It is going to happen. The Crew. I just don't think we're there yet. Although the breaking stuff down and away was something that was really getting him. Do you guys think this team wins the AL or wins the West? No. Oh, God, I hate that. But no. I think this team's a wild card team. I think this team could even be the first wild card team. But I think that the Rangers have too good of a baseball team. And with all the injuries the Mariners have sustained so far, how much they've had to lean on Andres Munoz, the impending the impending regression of Jorge Polanco, I it's tough. I mean, I would love to say yes, but I just think with all the injuries they've had so far, the impending regression of Jorge Polanco and other guys on the team, like, again, Ben Williamson and stuff like that, it is very hard to see, or very hard to see a path where, unless this team either A, gets some help, or B, everyone finally gets healthy. And obviously we need to learn more about what's going on with Logan and stuff. There's just so many what ifs. I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility that they could win the West, but there's just so many what ifs right now that I can't confidently say that it will that they will win the West. Your trident is up today, King. Are your torpedoes away? Buy that shirt now at Mariner Mojo 4th Wall Shop in the pinned comment above. Hi, Mike. How's the bread, bro? I think we could do it. Julio will offset. The pitching will bounce back. Coping. I mean, there are some, there is some silver linings there, right? Like you said, Gorfy, there's a decent chance that Julio does bounce back. Or, he gets hot, which he always does every single year. The pitching staff has been the worst it's been in years. And so I think that there's a chance that the pitching staff bounces back again, if Logan isn't as hurt as we thought he was, if George comes back, or if Logan Evans is good and Emerson Hancock is good, then yeah, I think there's absolutely a chance that this team could win the West. I just think that there's so much up in the air right now that it's tough to confidently say that I think this team can win the West when I know that there are other teams that are also underperforming. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's tough. Wow, I'm gonna buy that shirt at Mariner Mojo .whatever. Thanks. You're so welcome. And the bread was fire. Mwah, mwah. Smooches, bro. Wait, I got you, Mike. I got you. Hold on. Let me get you the emote. Smooches, bro. Hell yeah. If we get over a 10-game lead in the West, the curse will be broken from Scott's service. I believe in this team to hold a 10-game lead if they were to have one. Wasn't George supposed to be back by now, but was pushed more out? So I think we were hoping like mid-May, but it's going to take him a while to ramp up. It sounds like he might start a rehab assignment. What did they say? Did they say Sunday? I saw a tweet about it. I don't remember what it was, but he might start his rehab assignment like Sunday. I would assume it's going to take him 3-4 starts to really get going. It's just a matter of time before he does come back, but you have to see how he's feeling in those rehab starts, and it's so tentative right now that I personally don't expect George back before like the 3rd week of May. And that might be like the hopeful timeline, which sucks. It's been so much fun watching Seattle Mariners baseball lately. It feels so good to wear Mariners gear, but I agree, it's early in the season and there's so many variables. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. And this is how, I'm just so tentative because of last year, and they had the 10-game lead, and obviously they lost the 10-game lead, that I don't want to get too high on, how well the team is playing, because I did that last year. I think I made a video talking about, like, have the Mariners already won the West after they swept the Rangers last year on Father's Day? And we know what happened. So, you know what? Maybe it's my fault, chat. Sign JD Martinez to play right field. Ben, he would be quite literally, I would rather have Nelson Cruz go play right field right now, right this second, than have JD Martinez go out there. Thoughts on that, Jay? At least Nelson Cruz, I can maybe count on his bat. You can't do that with JD. Any major farm players that could be called up this year? I mean, major farm players, I guess if you consider like Tyler Locklear, that kind of guy, I think Cole Young has an opportunity, but he's going to have to start hitting down there at AAA. I think that honestly, and if it's literally only the end of April, we have seen the guys I would have said at the start of the year, we've already seen them come up in Ben Williamson and Logan Evans. And so it's like, what the hell? Like, It's not even May yet. And because of all the injuries they've had, that's just kind of been the direction they've been headed. So, Mara, what's up? Last year's lead was more about the AL West underperforming than anything. I agree. With that being said, so I do want to actually, that's a great point, Mara. Let's talk about that. The Mariners weren't good last year. They weren't good. Farmello, he's ready. He played one game and hit a home run. He's ready. Like the stream? Question mark? Yeah, what Kenny said. The Mariners last year sucked when they had their 10-game lead. It's just all the other teams sucked more. The Astros were horribly injured to start the season, right? The Rangers, I mean, we all know that it was kind of rough for them. The Mariners the only reason they won as much as they did and had a 10-game lead on Father's Day was that the pitching staff held this team together. This year so far, it has been the offense. The offense was terrible last year when they had that 10-game lead. Still one of the worst offenses in baseball. You could see that regression coming where maybe the pitching staff had a few bad starts and they just weren't going to be able to hold it together. This year, it's kind of the flip of that, right? It's the opposite of that, where the offense is what's holding this team together, and the pitching staff really isn't. But this pitching staff has so much upside that if the offense, even if the offense does regress a little bit, which I think is inevitable, like I think the offense regressing to the mean a little bit is completely inevitable. Jorge Polanco is not going to stay that. He's not going to hit like 360 something all year. If he does, I will buy a Jorge Polanco jersey. I will wear it to every single Mariners game I go to for the rest of my life. So there's no way he hits 360 for the season. I think, however, there's a chance that Julio comes around and, gets his average up to 280, gets his WRC plus up to like 125-ish. And, we start to see maybe Cal hit for a little more consistently. We start to see Ben Williamson maybe come into his own. Guys start to get healthy, right? Guys start to get healthy with maybe like a Luke Raley getting healthy. You bring up Tyler Locklear and get rid of the black hole in your lineup known as Donovan Solano. And this pitching staff starts to come back to what we know they're capable of. The offense is not capable of sustaining this, but the pitching staff is capable of being so much better than they are. And I think that when you average all that out, I think that this team with an average offense and a good pitching staff is better than this team with a good offense and a average pitching staff that we're seeing right now. Did you see Polo when he was in Minnesota? He was never this good. Never this good. It's impossible. It's statistically impossible for him to have ever been this good over a full season. But yeah, what's that, Micah? Sorry. They got to get rid of Solano. Yeah, they got to get rid of Solano. I mean, the fact they didn't even go to him today when it was a lefty versus Rowdy, they just went with Rowdy, who ultimately hit into a double play. That is a pretty good sign that they have zero faith in Donovan Solano. What is Kirby's injury? It was shoulder inflammation, right, chat? He had shoulder inflammation. So, Polo, the best offseason signing since Cruz? I mean, dude, so far, yes, absolutely. But the pitching staff are all injured, so when will they even start to have the chance to regress? That's the hard part, is we have to wait for guys to get healthy, and there's a chance with somebody like Logan that he doesn't get healthy at all this year. I'll get knock on wood, thank your lucky stars if that doesn't happen. But if Logan if Logan's out for the year, my enthusiasm for how good this pitching staff can be plummets, because obviously he's your ace. So is this the best Polo's ever been? Yeah, absolutely, this is the best Jorge Polanco's ever been in a hitter's ballpark. By the way, somehow, some way, Jorge Polanco has 5 home runs on this homestand at T-Mobile Park. Don't let anyone tell you it can't happen. Chatty's doing it all from the left side. Like, all from the left side. I don't even care if he can hit from the right side. Leave him. Leave him on the left. Is Rowdy gone if Locklear gets called up? Wouldn't we want to give Locklear everyday at-bats? I don't think it'd be Rowdy, Braden. I think it would absolutely be Donovan Solano. I think it has to be Donovan Solano just because of how poorly he has played so far. Lefty starting tomorrow. We're going with Solano. I think that's probably the case, Tyler. But it needs to be Tyler Locklear sooner rather than later. And the fact that they are just continuing to run Solano out there every single day, they're like, to think how much better this team would be if they just had somebody else other than Jorge Solano, Donovan Solano. I almost said Jorge Polanco. So I think that, yes, you would want to get Locklear every day at bats, but you also don't want him to get overexposed, if that makes sense. Where we've seen guys in the past, in their early days, admittedly in their major league career, they get a little overexposed and they eventually can't hit, and you got to send them back down. And obviously we've seen that a few times with Tyler Locklear, and it's got to do not great things for your confidence about making the big league club. So I think you need to put him in the best case to succeed. And if he's the hot hand, you roll with him. Give Dan a grade. I'll give Dan Wilson a B-. He still has had some very, very iffy calls to the bullpen, albeit the bullpen hasn't been great as it is, but they haven't been put in very good situations because of Dan. I'll give him a B-, which is crazy because, again, I think that the sky's the limit with this team, and they're playing really well. They're in first place on the in the American League West, so to give him a B- is crazy. But I think that there are a few, I think this team would be the best team in the American League had Dan not made some of the decisions that he has. Like, there are certain decisions that Dan has made throughout the season so far that I believe the Mariners, if they would have done a specific thing different in the game, could have won that game. Did you see the Rowdy bunt attempt with no one on base? Well, it's because the third baseman was playing over by a shortstop. If he would have got it down, I think there's a chance. It would have been a race. It would have been a crazy race, but I think there would have been a chance. With Castillo soon being on the move in the next year, it makes sense to me. I'll be interested to see, it's very hard to say that, let's say worst case scenario, right, chat? Worst case scenario, Logan Gilbert is going to get Tommy John. Worst case scenario, right? You can't trade Luis Castillo if that's the case. You can't. If Polanco doing tricks on it, man. That's a crazy statement. Austin, what's up, dude? If Logan has to get Tommy John, you cannot trade Luis Castillo because you need a solid starting staff. With that being said, let's say Logan Evans shows out the rest of the year. Okay, cool. Let's say Emerson Hancock is maybe actually the guy that we thought we were getting when we drafted him. Then sure, we could talk about it. But at this very second, I don't think that you can trade Luis Castillo this offseason. Thoughts on Polanco giving up switch hitting and being a full-time lefty? Russ, I don't hate it, but I need to see him hit left on left a few more times, because the last time he did it, he looked really bad. We don't know what the constraints have been on the bullpen to have Dan. The problem is, I don't disagree with that in practice, but let's say there have been times where it's okay, you should go to Gabe Spire here, and he goes to Trent Thornton, and then Gabe Spire pitches later. So okay, so Gabe was fine. Gabe was fine, then you should have just gone to Gabe. Gilbert has a forearm injury. Why are you saying Tommy John? Mr. Dog, forearm injuries are generally the very first sign of Tommy John surgery. When you look back, it's a grade 1, flexor strain. That is exactly what they called Robbie Ray's injury right before he got Tommy John. So, $5 from Jeffrey, top D of the day from Jeffrey, says, even the great Edgar can't get Julio to be more patient at the plate when others on the roster have a clear approach change at the plate. Drives me nuts. Julio tries to pull everything. Gorfy says, good, he should. He didn't do that last year until the end of the season. Look how good he did. When Julio's getting to his pull side, he's the best hitter on the team. Jeffrey, so it's interesting. It's interesting because when you look at Julio's, actually, I don't know if this is still true. Hold on. When you look at Julio's like savant numbers and stuff, they're fantastic right now. But he's just not seeing the ball through a lot of the times. And I believe his strikeout rate's also down from what it was over the past year. Okay, so his savant numbers have gone down a little bit since the last time I checked, which doesn't surprise me, seeing as how that's generally how the early on in the season goes. But if I look at Julio Rodriguez, he's also been kind of in a slump lately. So since the last time I checked, these numbers could have definitely changed. But when we look at his strikeout numbers, so right now Julio's actually striking out, chat, the lowest percentage of his career. Thoughts on that? Comments, questions, concerns? But his BABIP his career BABIP is 332. That's batting average on balls in play. It's usually the best way to tell if a player is getting lucky or not. It changes a little bit because a high BABIP can either come from A, a player getting lucky, or B, a player that hits the ball really hard. And for Julio, his career BABIP is 332, but he also has a hard hit percentage that is 11% better on his career than the rest of baseball. And so his BABIP is higher because he is hitting the ball harder. But in 2025, Julio has a BABIP of 234. 234, chat. That is 100 points lower than his career. And so what's the reason for that? You may actually, I should be doing this like this. Hold on one sec. I'm sorry, chat. I should. One sec. One sec. Sorry, chat. Hold on. I'll fix it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm glad you guys said something, and I'm glad I looked over at the chat because I was just going on a tangent. My bad, chat. So, as I was saying, his career BABIP numbers are 332. However, his BABIP in 2025 is 234. It's 100 points worse. His exit velocity isn't down that much from his career norms. His hard hit percentage isn't down that far as much. But as a lot of you guys were saying in the chat, his ground ball percentage is way up. He's not hitting the ball in the air, and that is evidenced pretty heavily right here. Somebody in the chat said that Julio just tries to pull the ball every time. He's pulling the ball the least in his career. The least in his career. And so it's literally just the fact that he's hitting the ball on the ground too much. Volume low, sorry, Anna. Hopefully that fixed it. You can see his line drive percentage is down 5 points from what it was in years past. Fly ball percentage is still there, but he's not hitting the ball on a line. And because of that, we're not seeing the numbers out of Julio that we're used to. He is walking at the highest point of his career, and he's striking out at the lowest point of his career. There's so much going right for Julio right now. It's one small tweak. One small tweak. He just needs to get the ball on a line a little bit more, which is obviously easier said than done. But still, when it comes to Julio Rodriguez in 2025, I think that, and he talked about it as well before the season started while he was down in spring training, the approach that Kevin Seitzer, the approach that Edgar, that they're preaching is hit the ball low and hard and on a line. The problem is he's hitting it too low. He's hitting it on the ground, right? He needs to get a little bit more of that loop back in his swing, so he's hitting the ball on a line a little bit more, and I think he will. I legitimately think that he is this close. This, which is very big, by the way. I think he's that close to making the adjustment that's going to set him on a tear. Right, math things. Hey, man, stats are stats. Stats are stats. You had batting average. We have WRC plus. Back in the day, they didn't have any of them. They didn't have nothing. All right. You want to know why Julio's not playing well? There it is. I just told you exactly what it is. So yeah, we need Julio to pull the ball a little bit more, because when Julio is hitting the ball in the air to the pull side, Julio is dangerous. Julio is one of the most dangerous hitters in the league when he is pulling the ball to in the air. But unfortunately, that's not happening this year. So that's what I'm saying. I think that he's literally this close. He is one tweak away, in my opinion, from getting back to the Julio Rodriguez that we've been used to seeing over the past couple of years. So I'm excited about that, but it's also like, ugh, that's scary. Like that's scary to think about. Like, what if he doesn't get there? And Julio, like Aaron says, Julio is just not a hot April player and may never be, but May's coming up. Hopefully it looks better. Exactly. And Kyle Seager was terrible in the month of March and April, but he's going to be a Mariners Hall of Famer. You know what? And Julio, well on his way to being a Mariners Hall of Famer. Thoughts on JP's production being sustainable? At this rate, I'm not sure, Stuart. I think that he's going to get hot for a little while, and then he'll slow down probably somewhere in between the start of the season and where he is right now. I would expect JP to finish the season hitting like 250, 260 with like a 115 WRC plus. And if that's the case, it's a great baseball player. That's a great player if that's the case. Is a 2-game series sweep called a brush? It should be. Can we change the mound to the top of the foul pole so he'll only pull it to the foul pole? Yeah, I'm in. Give him a month and he'll have a breakout. I think so. I like how he's taking his walks now, Mara says. And that's the biggest thing. One of the biggest problems that we've all had with Julio over the past couple of years has been his whiff rate and his chase rate. They're still bad. Like his whiff rate and his chase rate are still bad this year. But he is controlling the zone a lot better than he has in years past. And I think that is important for Julio when it comes to, hopefully, getting to where we think he can be. Because Julio Rodriguez, in my opinion, can be a 6-7 win series. 6-7 win player. It's just, I think he has to have one or two tweaks earlier in the season to make that happen. I like duster. All right, we're calling it a duster, chat. We're calling it a duster. Instead of a sweep or a mop, it's a duster. Is there any reason this offense is doing so good other than the power of friendship? Nope. I don't think so, Temp Taser. I think it's just the power of friendship and chaos ball. It's the reason this team's doing so well. I literally have no other explanation why the offense is as good as it is other than Jorge Polanco and the power of friendship and anime. That's all I got. That's the only reason I can think the Mariners offense is doing so well. Heading to the game tomorrow, I might have picked the wrong one. You might have, Aaron. I mean, you have Tyler Anderson on the mound, so you're going to have the right-handed hitting lineup which I feel a lot less confident in. And then on top of that, you have Emerson Hancock on the mound. Hopefully Hancock comes back and continues to pitch like he has his last couple times out. Because if we see him pitch like he did his first time out, I'm gonna be sad. The good news is, chat, because it's a 2-game series for whatever reason, because it's a 2-game series, you at least split the series. You're not gonna lose this series, so that's kind of sick, right? We love that. So no matter what, chat, we're keeping our haven't lost a series streak alive with this win tonight. If you win tomorrow, you keep it's now 7 series in a row that you've won. Just saying. I'm just saying. All right, chat. I think we're going to wrap it up there. I'm going to go rest my voice for a little bit because I got a podcast to record tomorrow. I got a radio spot with KPUG tomorrow. And we'll probably stream again after the game as well. So I'm going to go rest my voice, chat. I appreciate all of you guys being here. This is, I think, the biggest stream that we have had since we started doing these postseason streams this year. So round of applause to you guys. I think this is the biggest, like the most people we've had here. We had like 260 here at one point, which is freaking crazy. So I appreciate all you guys for that. Truly, it means a lot that you guys like hanging out with me after the games. And then, of course, big shout out to Jeffrey, who has donated a lot throughout the stream, to Braden, to Levi. And yeah, appreciate all you guys for those, the fan funding stuff. It helps a lot as well. So I appreciate you guys. We are going to let's do it all again tomorrow, huh? Rest well, feel better. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. I will do my darndest. I'm going to sleep for like 12 hours tonight. But appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Smooches, chat. W chat. Desert Stro, I saw you, bro. I appreciate you. Smooches, bro. But also, can you guys stop beating the Tigers so you can fall down in the standings? Thank you. Appreciate it. What, Jeffrey?